What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the NBL final review. I know this is weeks and weeks late. I've got to be honest, just been pretty hectic at the moment. As I'm sure plenty of you that did listen to my videos throughout the year, I did actually finish up my job yesterday. Unfortunately, they offshored to the Philippines and was trying to find another one. Found another one to start next week as a casual thing, and then yesterday managed to get another one that was full time, which was really dope. I was really happy with that, and it, had a week break as well, it has a week break as well, which is great because I really wanted time off. The casual one started on Monday, and I worked through Christmas period, and I'd really hyped myself up for time off after this, role ended. So starting Monday, I think, was just like really sad. But then, I managed to get a full time gig, which is obviously better, and it starts the following week. So I'm just like, yes, I'm so happy. I was so sad to see everyone, just like say goodbye and whatnot. But at the same time, I was like also ecstatic because I just got like exactly what I wanted. The final day of work. So that was really cool. I'm really excited for that opportunity and going forward with that. So just being really busy in that grand scheme of things. I did turn 30 last week as well, so had a massive party for that. Had a lot of things going on there. Doing a lot of house rentals as well. House is looking really good right now. I just put down like some floating floor. I didn't really do it, let's be honest. But my bedroom's next to it, so there was no way I could record when this was happening. So floating floor go down next door. I had the cut pieces and whatnot for that. And then the outside area as well just got like redone, and just been really, really, really busy, and like no excuse, I probably could have forced out a video if I really wanted to, but I just had a lot going on and I just was prioritizing other things. But yes, I'm here now to wrap up the NBL season. I will get some AFL things started real soon, actually. In fact, I'll probably drop a cheeky league code for AFL for anyone that has come to this video. Honestly, for those faithful that have shown up for this final review, shout out to Matty Granger, who hit me up asking if I was going to be doing any, and definitely plan to. I definitely thought I was finishing work this week and then I'd have like a bit of time off. I'd be able to watch all the AFL practice games and really get like good AFL content out. All of a sudden I have a week off. I've planned to go away with the missus, so I don't know how much of that I'll get done. I have watched a fair few of the practice games. I watched like the Collingwood-Brisbane half. I definitely watched some earlier in the week. I've watched basically like most of them, except for the ones that just happened. I think Port and Adelaide I just started. Sydney GWS I haven't watched. I've decided to prioritize the games that aren't the open round games, just because there's a lot of content to watch and a lot of games to watch, a lot of players to see, and I know I'll watch all the open round games. So if I can, if I do skip games, it's going to be like that Sydney GWS. Obviously, technically I could still watch Collingwood Gold Coast half, but like once again, Collingwood, Brisbane, Gold Coast, they're all playing in open round, and because of the way the structure was, the VFL teams were starting to come into effect a little bit after the first half. So I think the first half is probably the best part of the footy to watch. So decided to give that a break. Either way, this is not an AFL podcast. Sorry, I'm just quick TLDR there, but I'm pretty happy with the information I have, and I want to do a video, so I'll get to that. But yes, NBL season has ended. We can see I finished up with a 359, went up 42 places, 1941. In my opinion, it was a bit of a fail of a year. It just didn't work out. I did talk about this as well. Like obviously, we had that situation with Bryce where I decided to anti-pod him, and that was devastating. The Supercoach Hub consensus team was about the same rank. They picked up Bryce. They ended up finishing like 300th. So there was definitely potential for me, and I decided to play against the crowd. And I think with the whole Bryce situation as well, if you did watch Supercoach Hub podcasts earlier in the year, you would have seen that I was big on Bryce and being like, oh man, he's 300k when he comes back. I don't care if he's coming back after his double run. I'm going to pick him up for singles because he's good enough that he'll make 100k and be like a suitable bench option that scores more than most other people around that 300 to 200k mark on single game weeks. Then he had the massive game. Then he still had 2 doubles left, and everyone jumped on him, and I decided to anti-pod him. And that's probably a pretty big mistake. Something I talked about when the season started is not just picking pods for the sake of picking pods. Sometimes, you got to pick the best players. If you're picking the best players every week, your thoughts and opinions are going to differ from others, and you will gain ranks, because even if 70% of the comp goes on Bryce, that's great. But they don't all have this... that 70% doesn't all have the same players of you. You're still going to have massive diversity. Even if it's only a couple of players here or there, you're still going to have diversity. And kind of shooting myself in the foot a little bit by trying to take a very high risk. Was it even high reward play? It was probably a low reward play in the grand scheme of things, just because of how good Bryce was. It's like, yeah, if he doesn't pop off, I'm probably not gaining much because he's still going to be really, really good. Like, let's be honest. Yeah, 2 years in a row, I kind of shot myself in the foot with Bryce. He had slow starts, and I decided to anti-pod when everyone else got on, and yeah, it just really, really hurt me. So, a bit disappointed with that side of things. I think I messed up with the starting team, obviously. We tried to force Harrison, and I was a bit too maybe hyped on Harrison. I got dragged into a bit too much of the preseason games, started him, and then, like, in hindsight, from my round 1 to round 2 team, I basically had to burn a boost round 1 because I didn't set up my round 2 good enough. I think I did. I think I ended up burning a boost. Maybe I didn't. No, I don't think I actually burned a boost, actually, at the end of the day. But either way, I think, yeah, maybe I need to think a bit more about the early season, because even though I didn't burn a boost, there was still holes in the early team where it was like, I messed up here. And I think maybe need to play the fixture a little bit more, especially with the premium guys. You know, we want to make cash with them at the end of the day. Like, we want to make cash with every player in your team. But with the premium guys, you want those guys on the good fixture so you can put them in your team, keep them in your team for however long, 5-6 weeks, and then worry about them at a later date, you know. But instead, I forced a guy with a bad schedule who was most likely gonna have to be traded out, and I kept looking at, like, best case scenario, best case scenario, best case scenario, worst case scenario, I can trade and I'll be okay. But I think I just got a little bit too caught up with that Harrison play. I also captained him early, really put myself behind the ball early on. So, yeah, not happy overall with how the season went. We were definitely behind in the cash game. We saw guys with over 3.6 million. I mean, that's 300k on top of 2 of my rookies is 2 400k players. That's the difference. People playing with 2 extra 400k players on the bench, and I've got bloody Foxwell and McCarron or something, you know. We'll jump into the team. This is how the team actually wrapped up. If anyone, I think I missed my last video because I tried to record it and then there was no sound, and I just had to get rid of the video, and I was very frustrated at that. So that was very annoying. I had a few ways I could go here. And I decided to try and keep on to Harrell and Davis. Ended up, like, Harrell keep didn't end up working out with the 26 on bench, and that's a lot of money I could have pushed elsewhere. Saying that, Bradshaw was really good, Groves was really good, Aldridge didn't quite do as much that I needed, but Hickey was a great captain choice there, very happy with that. And unfortunately I missed the news about Kell. I did not realize games started on the Wednesday. I thought we were starting Thursday night games. Wednesday rocks around, and I went to open my Supercoach to just, like, double check things and realized, holy shit, the games have started. So yeah, that was horrible. If I knew Kell was missing one game, I would have fielded Davis on a single over that. So yeah, threw away a bunch of points there on the final week, and we still went up in ranks. Like, I feel like we definitely had the right idea for this final week. We just cooked the chook, unfortunately. So that was a little bit disappointing. How did the final round even go? So yeah, Armstrong ended up being the main man there. Great to anyone that captained him. If you end up with, like, an Armstrong Hickey, awesome. Hindsight, if I knew Kell was out, I think Hickey Harvey is the angle I would have gone for, because I wasn't even sure about how Armstrong was playing. Bryce comes back massive on a single, and once again, this is, instead of someone having Foxwell, they have a Bryce on the bench, and Foxwell scored 24, Bryce scores an extra 40 points on him. So yeah, just way too behind in the money game, which sucks. Bradshaw was a good bring in, Davis was a good hold, Groves was also good, so I was happy with that. So look, that wasn't the worst case scenario. The last week overall wasn't the worst case, but just a little disappointed in myself how the season went. So look, we'll learn, we'll live, we'll get better next season. If KD stays in the league, that'll be awesome. He has a 45.6 average. I'm pretty sure this mofo is going to start at, like, 500k if we just look at, like, averages. Yeah, even Bryce on 42 is, like, crazy. So I hope KD sticks around. That would be amazing. It'd be great if Harrell stuck around as well, but they're going to be hella expensive. I mean, I don't know how you could start next year. Say Adelaide have, like, the first 4 out of 5 games at doubles. I don't know how you could fit Kendrick Davis and Harrell into your team. You'd be putting 900k into 2 players, and you'd have 1.1 million for 8 players. Like, I don't know how you could make that work, but if they had that good of a run, I think you'd just have to you'd have to consider it at least. You'd have to consider it. But yeah, I hope they stick around. That'd be really cool. They were really entertaining, and honestly, I watched the playoffs. We're going to talk about the playoffs now, guys, because let's be honest, the season was done. We watched the playoffs. Play-ins. We had Sydney versus Adelaide. Adelaide get up, and that was really entertaining. I loved watching Adelaide's game. I really wanted Adelaide to get through and Sem to get through. I think I mentioned this previously that I find those teams very entertaining. I mean, not that Perth aren't entertaining. Let's be honest. Bryce doing Bryce things. It's, as a fan, you can't just not sit there and go, wow. But Adelaide got up, and that was a really good game, really entertaining. Loved watching that. Sem against Perth, I don't know what the hell they were doing in the first 10 minutes of the game, but they were down 2-20. They bring it back so that they're up. So once again, speaks volumes to their talent, but you can't let a team start off 20 points ahead. And then Perth blow away at the end. So you're at Perth's home, you're giving them a huge advantage. Yes, you roared back, but then Perth just, they hit the fire at the end. And I do think Sem were a little bit unlucky in the sense that Perth had all cylinders firing, and what I mean by that is there's been plenty of games this year where Pinder doesn't show up, Windler doesn't show up, Doolittle hasn't shown up. There's not a situation basically all year where I could say yeah, Pinder was on, Doolittle was on, Bryce was on, Henshaw was doing his thing, Windler was having doing well sort of thing, doing enough, it's sort of a utility player. I don't think there's a game this season I could have turned around and be yeah, they were just straight mad. Somebody was always just not performing. And I feel in the Sem game, they were all going off. I feel Windler was hitting his threes, doing Windler things. You had Pinder absolutely popping. Doolittle playing fucking bully ball down there. Then Bryce also clicks and is hitting anything that he's putting up. And honestly, Sem played good ball, and Perth just were elite. That was the kind of game where it just felt it didn't matter who Perth was up against, they were going to win that game. Obviously, there was a period of time in the middle where Sem started roaring back. As I said, they're down by 20 and they roared back. But that just speaks volumes to Sem's talent. Sem are also really, really good and very entertaining. So I would have loved to have seen Sem get up there, get through, and then Adelaide get through as well. But didn't happen. Meant Sem had the verse Adelaide. And then, this was also pretty wild. Sem down by the largest margin this season. Was it, I think, 21 or 28 points that a team has come back from, and they roared back. And as I said, I love KD. I loved Harrell. So it was one of those things where I want Sem to win because, hometown. You got to go for that hometown. But I'm also sitting there, and I do enjoy Sem, as I said, that they got good players. I do like Sobey, Hurt. They're good guys. Foxwell seems like a good kid. I love that Air's getting back in the game again, which is nice. I think Air could be a good rookie for us if King stays the coach. Air could be a good rookie because he's found his way back into the rotation. Obviously, Walter Jr. is out though, but I don't know. It could be someone that we could keep our eyes on. But yeah, they didn't even have Walter Jr. And they just roared back, and they got the win. And it was kind of also sad at the same time, just watching Adelaide crumble. They were just not able to score the ball, and I know that feeling. I know that feeling of the other team has momentum. It feels like there's a lid on the ring and you can't stop them from scoring, but the ball just won't drop for you. And honestly, it was a little bit of my team on Wednesday night. We're I think we're third on the ladder. We only dropped 4 games this year, and we played the team that was second last, and we could not put the ball in the hole, and we were down by 20 points at half time. What the hell is going on here? We brought it back and lost by 7, but it was one of those things where we're a team that averaged 60 points a game. We're 14 at halftime. Ball just won't go in. What do we do? Ball won't drop. No, that was 100% our bad. We have a bad shooting. Can't hit shots, and yeah, more or less just I understand how Adelaide are feeling. Sometimes I feel like they have the momentum. There's a lid on the ring. You can't score the ball, and it's a home game. The fans are behind them. Sem are just rolling. And it was the same thing that happened to Sem against Perth. Perth got rolling and Sem just couldn't stick with it. The ball stopped dropping. Perth were hitting everything, and Perth ended up winning that. And Sem managed to do it to Adelaide. They managed to roll it back the other way, and they get the win. And very entertaining games, I think. Very good playing games. Very excited for these actual playoff games. Sem obviously beat Illawarra last time, so I think there's a bit of fear factor from Illawarra. As good as they are, This is a pretty stacked top 4. I could see anyone winning it. I think Sem definitely have the talent to win it. They're definitely starting in an iffy position though, where being 4th means no matter what, you're playing an away game. Obviously, if you go to a best of 3, you're playing 2 away games basically to win the series. If you can win the first away game, win the second home game, great. You don't have to worry about that. But obviously, that's easier said than done. So yeah, they put themselves in a hard position, but They're talented enough to do it. Illawarra is obviously stacked. Perth, as I said, when they get rolling, when all their guns are firing, I don't see anyone beating them. So that's pretty scary in itself. And then Melbourne, just always as consistent as ever. Always a system. Always finding the best out of their players. And yeah, just elite. So really keen for this playoffs. Yeah, and really enjoyed the game. So yeah, sorry, I've been babbling on way too much, guys. And y'all are just like, Vern, we'll be honest, we were here for the Supercoach. We don't care about all this play-in talk and all that bullshit. But look, huge shout out to all of you. Just if you're wondering why I pulled it to the side, I'm going to bring up a league code because I didn't make a league in advance for AFL. So anyone that is going to tune in, play AFL, I'm going to drop that code for you guys now so that you can, come in, join me, have a bit of fun. I need to let's just Vern's YouTube it. Or, no, we're going to call it Vern's Faithful. Because if y'all showing up to watch the video, staying to the end right now, they're my faithfuls. I respect all of you, and I love all of you. And I really appreciate all of you really being here, honestly. Like, just some dude rambling about Supercoach and whatnot. So I'm glad that you're here. Is there a way that I can... Nah, I can pull this over. Nobody's going to see that. Yeah, nobody's going to see that. We can do this easy. There it is. There's the league code, 843... 921. I don't think any other league codes are up, so it's perfectly fine. Yeah, come join me. Come play a league. You guys deserve it. If you're here, come play with me. Why not? And I really respect you guys for coming and watching these videos right until the end, watching me all year long, waiting until this video, because I'm not expecting this video to get views. Let's be honest. This video is weeks after the NBL season. Most people have already tuned out. This might get 50 views, maybe. So I really appreciate all of you guys for jumping in, being here all year long. I really do. I know that if you're here, you probably already got me on Twitter, so I don't need to shout that out. But I'll get to that AFL video. I'll get that out soon, so keep your eyes out for it. But once again, thank you for tuning in for your consistent injections of Supercoach videos directly into your YouTube feed. Till next time, guys. Peace. Later.